Welcome to the Niagara Unlocked podcast, where we are unlocking life, real estate, and community across Niagara, one story at a time. This is episode 1, and in this episode, I am going to be talking about what brought our family back to the Niagara region after living in Grimsby for 7+ years, and what brought us back to Niagara, back to our roots where we were originally from. So before we decided to move back to the Niagara region, we were in Grimsby for about 7 years. Me and my wife, before we got married, we bought a townhouse out there through Los Angeles Homes, and we lived there for 2 years. And then there was an opportunity to build a house, and we jumped on that right by the lake in what's now known as Grimsby on the Lake. It wasn't that before, but it's now Grimsby on the Lake, and we built a really nice detached home there. And then we had our 2 kids, and we lived there with them in a really nice community for about 4.5 years. And our life was pretty crazy. Before the kids, it was my wife commuting to Toronto every day and me commuting back and forth to Niagara. It was the much easier version for me. I got the best end of that stick, but for my wife, it was, for us, we were waking up at 5 a.m. every day. She was jumping on the GO train or the bus, going down to Toronto. I was heading to the Falls after that to work, and then had to meet her sometimes in Burlington, sometimes back in Grimsby for like 6 o'clock. So they were long days, but we powered through it. And then once we had our kids, I was commuting quite a bit, and then my wife went back to work and she started commuting to Toronto. So essentially, we were spending all of our time between family, work, and friends. The majority of our time was always being spent in Niagara Falls. And finally, after 4.5 years and additional 2.5 years of commuting, we decided to move back full time to the Niagara region. We've been back here now for about 7 months, and we're enjoying it. Yeah, commuting's one thing by yourself. It's not that bad. You work in your car and stuff. You make phone calls. It's not horrible. But once you have kids in the back seat, and as they get older, they don't like being in the car that long. There was many mornings where I was taking my daughter to daycare, which was in the Falls, and if there was an accident or something, she'd be in the car for an hour before going to school. And this year, our son started with her as well at the same school. Once they were both going to the same school, there was no way I could have them in the car for that long together every morning, twice a day, back and forth, right? So that was a big reason why we decided to move back. It was hard to leave Grimsby. We loved it there. We had great neighbors. They were awesome. And it's such a beautiful area where we lived. It was really hard to leave, but this does allow us, we've been able to see our friends a lot more. You don't realize when you think driving 35 minutes back and forth every day isn't really a big deal, and it's kind of not, but it is when you're trying to make plans to see people, to see family. You're always living. You always bring up. I always had a bag with me. You always got that in the back of your mind. Whatever you do, you got to plan for getting home, and it does affect seeing people. And we've noticed a huge difference being back in Niagara now. We're seeing our family all the time, and we're able to see our friends again. Which for 7 years we were on an island out there in Grimsby. So it's been pretty awesome, and those are basically the main reasons why we decided to sell and move back to the Niagara region full time. Yeah. So with work, definitely difficult, being a realtor. If the majority of our business is in Niagara Falls. We were the top team in 2022 in Niagara Falls. I was the number 1 broker in Niagara Falls, so the most houses. So the majority of my business is in Niagara Falls, and we're showing houses on a whim sometime, right? I could be at home and all of a sudden I get a message, I want to see one house. Well, our clients don't care that I live 40 minutes away. They want to see that house now, and especially when it's a competitive market, you got to run. So there's definitely times where I would have to drive, an hour round trip just to show a house for 15 minutes. Didn't mind it, but after a while, it rags on you, especially when you have kids at home. It's not easy, right? You miss a lot of time with them. So for work, and then you're trying to build your work life around your personal life, which is fine. It was doable, but once we added kids in there, it became a lot harder. So it definitely, we got to be there 100% for our clients. They're sympathetic to family life. They have families too, but at the end of the day, you got to deliver for them. So there's no excuses. Obviously, our favorite part about Niagara, especially being on the road for so long, is that you can get around the entire region in 12 to 15 minutes, depending on where you're going. It's fantastic. We moved to Thorold, and it's just so easy to get everywhere now. We spend a lot of time in different areas like Fawn Hill and St. Catharines, and obviously our families and our kids' schools are in Niagara Falls, so we're literally 12 minutes to everything, and we love it. It's been a great change for us, and but other amenities obviously that Niagara provides is, on a weekend, our family loves going to, the walking trails in Niagara on the Lake and going into the Bruce Trail and into the woods and hiking and stuff like that. That's pretty awesome. That was available in Grimsby too, but Niagara has it as well. Obviously the escarpment runs up all the way through. some other good services in Niagara. Now it wasn't Grimsby, but for our family, it was big for our kids. Like before our kids went to daycare, my wife, when she was off on maternity leave, she would take them to these early on education centers, and it's essentially a free daycare / like play thing for kids that they get to go from like 8 to 4 p.m. every day. Even the one in Grimsby had 2 locations, and the one even provided them lunch every day, and it was crucial for my wife to be able to get out of the house with the kids, bring them somewhere for them to learn and to play, and also for my wife and kids to connect with other, people that are living in the same situations. It's a long day being at home all day with a couple kids, and I know for moms being able to go to that place to connect with other moms and have a community like that is great. So that's a huge service. I don't know if a lot of people know about it, to be honest, but that's a huge service that the Niagara region provides, and it's free for parents. So I know Niagara Falls has quite a few as well, and they're all around the region. So yeah, if you're a parent looking to get out of the house with your kids, I would definitely check it out for sure. It was really good for our kids' development for sure. We've got more family stories, local tips, and obviously some real estate insight in Niagara to share with you. So subscribe on YouTube, and we'll see you next time on the Niagara Unlocked podcast.